Hello, welcome back to my channel. Please ignore whack-ass lighting. Couldn't get it right. This is 10 p.m. No, it's past that, I think. It's past my bedtime, and it's a Saturday night, and I haven't even recorded anything, so I'm recording something now. Also, I just found a D10 in my bed not long ago. What have I been up to? I swear a D10 is in my bed. What's my sleep pattern like? Hey, I might have to get one of those sleep apps just to find out what I'm up to. Who am I gambling with? Who am I playing against? So I am going to do what I've read in the month of April. What I've read in the month of April 2025. I'm not wearing any trousers, so I'm wearing this blanket, which is heating me up really, really fast. So I'm going to probably speed through this bit. And so I will start with... Oh, remember when I said in the last one that I would Google all the authors' names beforehand? Oh, I didn't do that. And hey, I've left this so last minute. I'm still not going to do it. So I'm just not going to say any author's name. But you can read it, and I will put a little picture up on the screen so you can see. The first book I read this month is called Hex. It's a really cool premise. It is about a town called Black Spring. Yeah, Black Spring, where there is a witch basically living among the people. She was executed back in ye olden days, back in witch trial days, and she has kind of haunted the town ever since. She kind of walks around zombie-esque, like kind of a decrepit, emaciated figure wandering around. Very cool visuals in that her eyes and her mouth are sewn shut. And she is basically just an ominous presence. She doesn't really seem to do much. A bit of the corner of her sewing in her mouth has come out, and people who can hear her kind of muttering out of it are given the impulse to do bad things to themselves. But other than that, she's just kind of there, and she can be anywhere. She can get into your house. You can just like open a door to the bathroom and she's just in your bathroom. You can wake up at night and she's just at the bottom of your bed, and you just have to kind of deal with it. You just have to kind of be like, oh, there she is, which is really cool. I think that's a really sick idea. It does go downhill for me in several different parts. This is about to be a spoiler review. This does suffer from male author disease, in that the author does that thing where multiple main characters for no reason are sexualizing the female characters in a way that I don't think fits the narrative. Like, I can understand if there is you could argue that, well, they burn this witch, that's a misogynistic thing, the misogyny still exists, but that's not really, that part isn't explored very much at all. It is just men being weird against women. And there is one female character in particular. She's a character who you kind of feel sorry for, but she's also an antagonist. She's repeatedly assaulted by men in this book. In this novel, there's both like references to past abuse. There is some very bad things that I can't say in this video that happened to her, and none of it, I feel, helps the plot in any way. The character was already kind of the character that she needed to be to progress her story without the second two assaults happening to her. So there's 3 that's mentioned. The past abuse, okay, that shaped her into the woman that she is today. The next 2 didn't need to happen. She was already down the path to doing the things that she did. I don't think she needed that push to do that, and I just don't like it, personally. I said before in the last book review that I did that I'm not really a person with triggers, and I'm not, personally, but I also I feel like it's the male author disease of violence against women just being put in as a plot device when I don't feel that it's always necessary. But yeah, that just didn't do it for me. There was there was one of the main protagonists, he wasn't the main protagonist, just thinks some wildly misogynistic thoughts, and I kind of thought it was going to go down, oh, he's a bit of a misogynist, but he's going to find a way out of that. He's going to realise that he's wrong. He's clearly the protagonist. It never gets rectified. It's clearly just the way that he thinks. And I know that sometimes I think male authors do that as like, well, this is just how men think. And it's like, okay, but I don't want to hear about it. Cool. I'm not interested, actually. So that was a flaw. Then I would say the most egregious flaws come towards the end, and this is major spoilers. I understand that the takeaway from this is that the cycles of abuse are being repeated, that the people of the town have not, spiritually, emotionally, intellectually evolved much from how they were back when the original townsfolk burned this witch. And they repeat the same patterns. They flog children in the street for bad behaviour. The children did something bad, but flogging children in the street, old-fashioned style, is a bit much of a punishment. And obviously that then escalates the violence within those children, which ultimately destroys the village, the town, pretty much. And so taking that, you are obviously supposed to feel for the witch in a way, which I do, and I was so there for the vast majority of it. But at the end, she just does a bunch of bad stuff. And then she's stood at the top of this hill watching the town people riot and kill each other, literally kill each other. And she stood at the top of the hill like, oh, like the John Travolta meme. Just like, oh my God, look at what these people are doing. She's confused. She doesn't understand it. The other protagonist guy stood next to her like, it's the people that are the problem. But it is like, well, Queen, if you didn't trap these people here and make it impossible for people to come help them and give them no food and water, and also you're kidnapping children and doing all this weird stuff, yeah, these people are on edge, they're going to kill themselves. It isn't a big mystery as to why. So I got what the author was trying to do, but I didn't feel compassion for any of the characters fully. Not any of them. There was plenty of characters that were completely blameless in their fate, but there was just nobody that I was like, yeah, I'm rooting for that one, other than there was a dog. Rooting for the dog. That didn't go well, spoilers again. But other than that, none of them deserved their fate, but I wasn't left going like, oh no, at the end of it. So that was Hex. I don't really do ratings, but this wasn't it for me. I didn't really enjoy this one. Next, one that I did really, really enjoy. This is my book of the month. I haven't read much this month, but this is my book of the month by far, and it is called My Darling Dreadful Thing. Also a Dutch author. These two are both by Dutch authors. So it's Dutch author month, I think. This was beautiful. This was very up my alley. It is about a youngish girl, young adult, called Roos. She is kind of a fraudulent clairvoyant, but she's not fully fraudulent. She does have a spirit companion named Ruth who follows her around, but she can't speak to any other spirits that she's aware of other than Ruth. So she gets her living from being a fraudulent clairvoyant, but Ruth is there, and that's what adds credence to what she's saying. But she's not doing it of her own accord. She's been forced to by her mother, who's very cruel to her. And one day, a woman called Agnes, who's recently widowed, her husband's died, and she comes to the seance. Roos believes that she sees potentially the husband's spirit. It all goes to pot, and Agnes decides to buy Roos off her mother. And it turns out it's because Agnes is also like Roos in that she has a spirit companion called Peter. That's who Roos saw. And Roos believes that the reason Agnes brought her there is because she misses her husband. She wants to connect with the husband. And it turns out that is not the case. It is a romance story between Roos and Agnes. It's written in a style that I personally really like. And I don't necessarily know if this is a popular style, but it's one that I really like. Where it is flashbacks, essentially. It's written as a kind of memoir. She's not the one writing the memoir. It's written through interviews with a psychiatrist, where you learn that she is on trial for murder. So she is on trial for murder, and you basically know at the beginning of the story that the ending is a grim one. And I like that. I'm a big spoiler person. I love a spoiler. Yeah, don't have a problem with a spoiler at all. So don't have a problem with knowing that the ending's grim. I like it. I love it in, what's the series called? I think it's called the Lady Trent Memoirs, and it starts with the natural history of dragons. I found that very comforting because you knew at the end that kind of everything was going to be alright. Not that every character was going to be okay, but that you knew that the protagonist was going to be okay, that she's alive. You know that a lot of the people that she loves survives because she has references to them now. So I thought that I liked that style because I found comfort in the fact that knowing that everything's going to resolve itself in the end and be okay. But I also found comfort in this, and I knew that it wasn't going to be okay at the end. So take of that what you will. I'm not going to spoil the story fully as I did with Hex because I really like this one and I think you should read it. But I will say a few things that I really liked about it. I loved Ruth's descriptions of the spirits, so Ruth and Peter that she could see, that she describes them in a very horrific way. They sound terrifying, but she sees them as very beautiful because she was scared of Ruth when she first met her, but now she's known Ruth the vast majority of her life. She sees beauty in that kind of grotesqueness. When she sees Peter, and he's described as very kind of spindly, like long limbs, spider-like in a way, and in a way that you would not necessarily think attractive guy. And she's like, he's the most beautiful man I've ever seen, and I love that. I couldn't love that more. I love the idea of finding beauty in decay or beauty in the grotesque. That did it for me. So this is great, wonderful, really, really good. Can't recommend this enough. Best book of the month, this one. Next, so this is the last one that I finished. I'm going to talk a bit about the book that I'm currently reading because I'm really close to the end. But this is Supplication. I don't have a lot to say about Supplication. It's a very, very difficult book to advertise, I think. I can read the back to you. An unnamed narrator comes into a basement, tied to a chair, a man looming over her. Someone has a knife. She emerges from her captivity into a mysterious and nightmarish city, searching for meaning in her new reality. As figures emerge from the night, offering some sanctuary and others judgment, she moves through a fever dream narrative of alienation, fear, and the quest for respite. This felt like... if anybody has seen season 3 of Twin Peaks, where Dale Cooper is trapped in the Black Lodge, and that whole sequence of him getting out of the Black Lodge, this entire novel felt like that. There was times, at first, I kind of was like, okay, she must be possessed by a demon. And then I was like, oh, she's possessed by something, but I'm not sure if it's a demon. She might be possessed by an angel. And then I swooped back round to possessed by a demon again. And I know that seems weird, they're like possessed by a demon, possessed by an angel, but there is a difference. And I have nothing more I can say about it other than that. I can't tell you a thing about the plot. I read a lot of reviews that people just didn't understand the plot, and I do think it's a difficult book to keep up with because the metaphors, it's written in it's very specific, very flowery, not flowery is maybe not the right word, but very descriptive prose, very poetic prose in a way. Did I say pause? Prose. Very poetic prose in a way. But the metaphors do sometimes go on for so long that you forget that they're a metaphor. And you have to kind of remember, like, what is actually going on? So it is, I think it's a difficult read, but I did like it. It is not highly reviewed. I don't have a Goodreads account myself, but I do have a Storygraph. I've got Storygraph. It is not highly reviewed on Storygraph. It's like 2-point-something stars. But I actually did like it. I don't know if I'm not clamouring to read it again anytime soon. I might read it again in the future and see if I have any more clarity on... Again, I understand the beats of everything that happened. I've not lost the story, but I don't fully understand the meaning behind the story. And I'm wondering if I read it a second time, if I would pick up on more of what the point of everything that happened to her was. Because I can remember, I think, every single individual thing that happened, but I don't know what the purpose was or what the story was trying to say, if anything. But again, I think on a second read I might have more clarity, and I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as people are rating it. I just think it's a difficult read. Last book that I haven't finished. I did say, I don't know if it was in my video or if I was on the Eldritch Podblast's Patreon stream. I don't know if it was that I mentioned it in, but I said that this was going to take me ages to read, and I was right. It's The Dragon Reborn, which is the third book in the Wheel of Time. I am fairly close to the end. I think I have 100 pages left, just over 100. Yeah, that's how much I've actually got left. So I'm not going to review it fully. I will leave that till next month when I've actually finished it. But I will say I knew that this was going to take me ages. I am enjoying it. But for some reason, when it comes to stories in a series, I just find it difficult to get the motivation to pick them up and read them. When it's like standalone novels like this, like even this one, it was a difficult read. But because it was like a standalone and not that long, it was just easy to power through. Like even when I was like, oh, I can't really be bothered, I was like, oh, you know, read another chapter today. Do you know what I mean? This, I find it hard to do that because it's just read another chapter today and you've still got 500 more pages left to read. So longer novels and novels where it's like, this is 3 out of 15? This is 3 out of 15. So I'm not going to get to the end of that anytime soon. And I know myself that I will not sit and power through novel after novel after novel. That isn't something I can do. Even with trilogies, I can't do that. I'm trying to think, what's the last trilogy that I read? I've read the 3 books of... Okay, that's taking that back slightly. The Locked Tomb I did read. I know that it's going to be a quadrilogy. But the 3 books that are released at the moment, I did power through them one after another, to be fair, because I really, really liked them. But that was a rarity, and they weren't... Each individual novel wasn't that long. I really can't think of... Oh, I guess all the Dragon Age books. Hey, I'm a liar, but again, they're short. Okay, I can't think of a trilogy with books this chunky that I have read one after another. And I read the first 2 beginning of last year, and I've only just got around to the 3rd one. So I'm going to spend the next 20 years reading The Wheel of Time. And that is it for the novels that I've read. I could also, I think I've only been filming for 20 minutes, and not all of that is going to be in the video. So I will also talk a bit about what I've watched so far. This year, I haven't watched much. I'm not a big watcher of things. I started to watch The Boys. I think I got 3 episodes in. Minor spoiler, I got to where Huey kills Translucent. I'm not into it, but I will say, first of all, I wasn't into Severance for the first 3 episodes. And I love Severance. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, perfect. Let's just talk about Severance. Let's just make this a Severance video. No, I know that I wasn't into Severance until a few episodes on YouTube cooked. YouTube cooked? That's not the right word. YouTube pilled. That's the right word. But the thing about The Boys is I feel like I know everything that happens in The Boys. I think I've seen the entire show in clips. Like nothing that happened in the first 3 episodes was a surprise to me. All of the major story beats I 100% knew. So that's also, I think, making it a little bit difficult in that I'm constantly like, oh, when does this happen? Because I know the whole thing, I just don't know in what order everything happens. So I'm not super into it. I also can't watch it at the moment. The thing that I was using to watch it's down. So yeah, I'm not super fussed. Like if it went down when I was, Severance I watched on Apple TV. I was watching the 3rd season of From because that's not available on YouTube yet, which is where I watched the first 2. I would have lost it if I couldn't watch it, but I'm not that fussed about The Boys just yet. Yesterday, me, Margaret and Jack went to go see Sinners, which was so good. The soundtrack, unbelievable. One of the best soundtracks I've heard in a long time. The way the music is incorporated into the movie without the movie becoming a musical, and fantastic. I will say I haven't watched a lot of... I know that there are other films that do that type of thing. I know that, the Elvis movie, which is a bit different because it's a biopic of Elvis, but I know that the music was incorporated into the movie without making it feel like a musical. I've been told that. But I don't watch a lot of that type of stuff. So it's just as far as I've seen, Sinners is the best that's ever done it. Nobody's better than that. The story was great. The acting was great. The cast was unbelievable. There wasn't anybody that I felt kind of, didn't do a fantastic job, and that includes whoever was doing the sound, the lighting. There's a barn scene that's unbelievable. There's an Irish jig in there. I love an Irish jig. There's a song that a woman sings, and the song's called Pale Pale Moon, I think. That was my favourite song in the movie. There was other absolute bangers and others that I think would be more of the main than that one. But Pale Pale Moon, that did it for me. That was great. That whole scene was fantastic. The vampires The vampires were pretty good. I love a vampire, and as far as vampires go, they were pretty good ones. I liked the main vampire guy a lot. I thought he was great. Really, really good. Great performances all round. Really good story. And it was a really good social commentary as well as being a vampire movie, which I'm going to be honest, I hadn't seen the trailer. I hadn't really seen much about it. I didn't even know that it was set in like the Jim Crow era in America. And it managed to be, a cool horror movie about vampires that also was very educational on how the segregation in the Jim Crow era in America and, outside of that as well, but this was specifically set in those times. It was very educational as well as being a vampire movie, which is great, which is banging, and having a fantastic soundtrack. So it was really, really good, really, really good. I liked that a lot. I watched, I was going to say Ready or Not, but that's not it. And I'm going to say Trick or Treat, that's not it either. The game that you play. True or False, that's not it. Truth or Dare. Truth or Dare. The fact that I can't remember the title of it maybe tells you how good of a movie it was. I just found it to be boring, which is hard for a horror movie to be for me, because I love even bad horror movies. But I just didn't care. I just didn't care really about, again, I didn't really care about any of the characters, I don't think. Was any of them alright? I can't even remember the order that they died in. I can't remember if there was any of the characters that I really liked. I don't think there was. Just didn't care. And that was that. I also watched a documentary on Netflix. I have watched... it was the documentary on Netflix about, kind of like, I thought it was just about child influences, but it was very specifically about a hype house of children. Can't remember, I'm not doing good at this, I can't remember what the name of the documentary was. I will put it on the screen. And it was just horrible. I hate like the child influencer thing. I hate it. I don't like seeing children on TikTok at all. Whenever I see a kid on TikTok, it annoys me. Not the kid annoys me. It's not the kid's fault. But, when I just feel like the knowledge of the harm that being online does to children is so out there. I just don't really see the value in sharing your child online. They do something cute and fun. Show the video to your friends and family. Put it in the WhatsApp group chat. But I don't get putting it online at all. And this was way more egregious than that. This was, it's seemingly, allegedly, a woman exploiting her daughter and many of her daughter's friends to make YouTube videos to make this hype house for kids. I'd never heard of any of these kids before. I didn't know that a hype house for children was a thing. I don't know much about the hype house for adults. I'm aware that they exist. I know that there was one with the Logan Paul, was it? Did he have one? I know that David Dobrik's had one. I've never seen a single episode of either, but I know that they exist. Everything about it disgusted me, and I feel so bad for the girl that's still stuck in there. And because I'm no better than anybody, and I look out the car when there's a car crash outside I'm driving past, I did look up the girl afterwards, and just seeing her, it's very clear that she is not able to have... She's of age now, I believe. She's older. She's not a child anymore. So she's of an age where I think she would be able to post stuff. I think it's 13 to post stuff it's supposed to be. She's definitely above 13. I think she's probably like 18, 19 now. I don't know. But it's clear that the relationships that she's in, I only scrolled as far as to see her most current boyfriend and the one before, it's still a relationship for the camera. And it might be her now taking control of that over her mother if she's now an adult, or an adult in the eyes of the law. I'm not sure if I count an 18 or a 19-year-old as an adult. So maybe she is now, doing it of her own accord, but it's all she's ever known. And just the idea of me being that age is a wee while ago now. I'm 33. I just can't imagine how embarrassing it would be to have your relationship up there when you're a teenager. And I'm not necessarily saying that I would be embarrassed now, at the age of 33 of something that I did when I was, 17, 18, however old that girl is. I don't suppose I would care now. But even like a few years after, if you're 21, 22, you're still pretty immature. So the constant anxiety, I imagine, of constantly having when you're in that age where you find the past few years of your life embarrassing, and just everybody's seen it. I'm Googling it after watching the documentary, because I'm part of the problem. I just feel so incredibly bad for that girl. So, hey, don't put your kids online. Just don't do it. No screens for kids under 2. I say, I'm not a parent. Keep them offline for as long as possible. Online is a scary place. I'm scared of it. I have extreme stranger danger. Fear. I'm not the stranger danger, I hope. Don't put your kids through that. Don't. Simply don't do it. I don't think I've watched anything else that I can recall. Unless you want me to go through every single YouTube video I've watched in the past month. But I don't think you do want that. So I think that is it for today. Have a lovely Saturday Eve, or whatever eve you are watching this. And fare thee well.